The Chu Chi tunnels are a network of snake-like tunnels located in the heart of Chu Chi district of Ho Chi Minh City, Saigon, Vietnam. It has also been expanded almost across the whole country. Communist forces began digging a network of tunnels under the jungle terrain of South Vietnam in the late 1940s, during their War of Independence from French colonial authority. Tunnels were often dug by hand, only a short distance at a time. As the United States increasingly escalated its military presence in Vietnam in support of a non-communist regime in South Vietnam beginning in the early 1960s, North Vietnamese and Viet Cong troops, as communist supporters in South Vietnam were known, gradually expanded the tunnels. At its peak during the Vietnam War, the network of tunnels in the Chu Chi district linked Viet Cong support bases over a distance of some 250 kilometers, from the outskirts of Ho Chi Minh City, Saigon, all the way to the Cambodian border. The tunnels were used by Viet Cong as hiding spots during the war, as well as communication and supply routes, hospitals, food, and weapon caches for those living across the tunnels. Sometimes the Vietnamese fighters took shelter in these tunnels and stayed hidden for days. The tunnel systems were of great importance to the Viet Cong in their resistance to American forces. Viet Cong soldiers said that life in the tunnels was difficult, as the necessities such as air, food, and water were scarce, and the tunnels were filled with ants, venomous centipedes, snakes, scorpions, spiders, and rodents. But soldiers had to spend days in the tunnels where they would work or rest, and when the sun would set, they would work to scavenge for supplies, tend their crops, or engage the enemy in battle. Diseases such as malaria were common for those who lived in these tunnels. When the United States bombed Vietnam, North Vietnamese and VC troops hid in these tunnels and applied their guerrilla tactics against the trained enemy. Later on, the tunnels were being used by general masses too, as a home. Chu Chi served as a sort of village for those who were homeless. They made quarters, kitchens, ordnance factories, hospitals, and bomb shelters in these Chu Chi tunnels. For entertainment purposes, people also made theaters and music halls in these tunnels for people to feel normal during the war. Apart from providing homes and shelter, the Chu Chi tunnels have played a significant role during combat operations. Vietnamese soldiers used to set lots of booby traps for the U.S. soldiers. The South Vietnamese infantrymen would plant tripwires that would set off grenades or would throw boxes of poisonous scorpions and snakes on the enemy troops. U.S. forces couldn't fight these guerrilla tactics, and they later had to train soldiers who attempted to fight them and called them the tunnel rats. U.S. soldiers would waste hours navigating the cramped, dark tunnels to detect booby traps and scout for enemy troops. However, as the tunnels were dark, they remained unsuccessful till the end. Finally, the U.S. forces decided to launch a serious campaign against tunnels as the Vietnam tactics scared the U.S. forces. They finally noticed the upper hand of Chu Chi tunnels, and the U.S. officials ordered a search followed by destruction of the tunnel system. All kinds of bombings were done on the tunnels, which resulted in giving some harm to some parts of the tunnels. But these tunnels were dug by hand and were built with heavy iron, which made them indestructible. When the previous operations failed drastically, the U.S. realized the enormous power of these tunnels. Their main mistake was underestimating the sheer size of the tunnel system. This gave Vietnam an upper hand. It was impossible to attack tunnels using the army. That's why the tunnels were often bombarded with explosives, booby traps, or punji stick pits. The troops mostly flushed the entrance with gas, water, or hot tar to force the Viet Cong soldiers into the open, or to toss a few grenades down the hole and crimp off the opening. Those approaches could never succeed due to the design of the tunnels and the strategic use of trapdoors and air filtration systems. Throughout the war, the Chu Chi tunnels proved to be indestructible and added to the misery of the U.S. troops. This is why the Viet Cong had been so well defended in the area by 1965 that no power could defeat them, and they were able to control the war no matter where it took place. After serving in the war for more than 20 years, Today, these Chu Chi tunnels are one of the favorite tourist destinations, attracting thousands of tourists from all around the world. Today, it is known as a war memorial park that has two tunnel display sites, Ben Din and Ben Duoc. People who visit Vietnam love visiting these tunnels, and it became a very popular tourist attraction in Vietnam. Visitors can crawl into the safer parts of the tunnel system and witness this wonder of human labor and ingenuity. Some of the Ben Duoc sites still contain parts of the original tunnel system, whereas, at the Ben Din site, most of the tunnels are reconstructed and enlarged to accommodate a huge number of tourists. Both tunnels have been decorated with low-power lights to make traveling easier, and both sites have displays of the different types of booby traps that were used. Even the underground conference rooms, in which campaigns such as the Tet Offensive were planned in 1968, have been restored, and visitors may enjoy a simple meal that Viet Cong fighters would have eaten. Visitors can now witness the memorable areas of the tunnels and can view command centers and booby traps. Want to experience how the soldiers used to live and fight? You can fire an AK-47 rifle on a firing range and can enjoy the same meals that soldiers of the tunnels would have eaten. That's it for this video. Before going anywhere, make sure to subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon to never miss any interesting videos from us. Thanks for watching.